People were incredible. They grabbed tickets, dropping everything just to be there. 45, 29, 16 spots. Wow. That is the massive slide Eala just endured, a 3-week freefall from her career high to almost falling off the map. The 20-year-old Filipina star was staring down the brutal qualifying ringer at the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart. Another grueling slog. One more hurdle just to reach the main draw she'd dreamed of since she was a little girl. Then Qinwen Zheng withdrew with an injury. And suddenly everything Eala planned for April 2026 just vanished into thin air. Stuttgart was never supposed to happen like this. She'd spent weeks watching old highlights of the legendary indoor clay court, center court under the lights. The thunderous roar of the crowd and champions lifting those iconic crystal trophies. On April 13th, she told reporters this tournament was the missing piece of her professional tennis education. But puzzles need every single piece. After losing to Ostapenko in Linz, just days before her ranking had taken a hit, dropping her down to 45, the main draw seemed impossible. Until April 10th, 2026 changed the game. Porsche Tennis released a statement that flipped her week. Alexandra Eala officially replaces Qinwen Zheng in the draw. No qualifying nightmare, no fighting through 3 brutal matches just to earn a slot in round 1. She got a direct ticket into a massive clay event because an Olympic champion's body gave out at the perfect moment. Fate had finally opened the door. But trust me, the tennis gods were still playing games with her. The draw ceremony put Eala against Leylah Fernandez, the Canadian powerhouse who carries her mother's Filipino heart. World number 25, 5 titles. The 2021 US Open runner-up. A battle-hardened veteran who had thrived on the sport's biggest stages while Eala was still fighting through the minor leagues. Both lefties, both former junior slam champions, both carrying that unmistakable Filipino fire in their veins. On April 14th, they'd meet on center court for the first time, a showdown that Filipinos everywhere knew was way bigger than just a match. The news hit social media like a bomb. Soon, Filipino communities from Manila to LA to Dubai were buzzing. The most legendary Filipino heritage showdown in ITIA history. Forget the rankings or the titles. This mattered because for the first time 2 players with deep Filipino roots were clashing. A full-blooded Filipina against a Phil-Canadian, carrying her mother's pride, both fighting for a singles title on a massive stage. 2 lefties, 2 winners, 1 historic moment. Stuttgart confirmed it April 14th, 5 p.m. local. 11 p.m. in Manila. Center court, the big one. The match fans never even dared to hope for was now just 48 hours away. Think about every Filipino fan who has waited years for this. For a long time, they've watched other nations own the clay court swing. They used to celebrate the small wins. A qualifier victory here, a first-round upset somewhere else. Now same court, same heritage, same dream. People started moving toward the arena immediately. Fans across Europe dropped everything and booked those last-minute flights. One woman, 7 months pregnant, drove 4 hours to Stuttgart just to watch Eala hit some practice balls. A BSCBN Sports reported that Eala's signature was the most wanted item in the entire player hospitality lounge. People lined up with Philippine flags, jerseys, and old photos from her days as a junior champion. Tournament staff saw the crowd exploding and realized this wasn't just your typical first-round energy. This was deeper. It was global pride in action. Arrived Monday, practiced Wednesday. Thursday was the big sit-down with the WTA media at the arena. Eala walked in carrying the hopes of 115 million people, speaking with a fire that felt like a declaration. Being loud and proud about your culture is just so important, she told them. Honestly, I don't think many nations are quite as loud or as proud as us Filipinos. I'm just happy to represent. Those words hit home in living rooms across the Philippines. In late-night group chats around the world, fans felt it. You've been there since she was 13. You saw this coming. You're the ones who stood up to the critics. You stayed up until 3 a.m. just to watch her on those grainy streams. The rest of the world is finally seeing what you've always known. Eala leaned in. At this level, the spotlight is blinding. Without a serious dose of gratitude, you'll get swallowed whole. She was opening up about the pressure, about the sudden glare of a main draw and those heritage face-offs, about fans who drive 4 hours while 7 months pregnant just for practice. But this was really about identity, representing a nation that treats its athletes like family, bringing that loud community-first soul onto a European clay court and refusing to back down. The reporters in that room saw a grounded, mature 20-year-old. Filipino fans, they heard a voice that sounded like home. The tennis world hasn't made its call yet. The ball hasn't even dropped. No legends have chimed in. No former champs are making bold predictions. But the real validation came from a different source. The Filipino people themselves. When a woman 7 months pregnant drives 4 hours just for your practice, that isn't celebrity worship. It's respect. When your autograph is the one everyone's chasing in a village full of top 20 superstars, that's not just hype. That's a real connection. Porsche tennis officials felt it too. Their public welcome for Eala was short, but it meant everything. Fans are hyped to see Alexandra step up. They knew. The energy around this match felt different. The stakes weren't just about a trophy. This was a culture on the line. When the diaspora claims you, when they move mountains just to watch you play, you carry an authority that rankings can't touch. Look, this match is a launchpad, not the finish line. Stuttgart is a WTO 500 event, the perfect place to build momentum for Roland Garros. A deep run here does more than fix her ranking. It proves she belongs in the conversation. As the European clay season heats up in Madrid, Rome, and Paris, the idea of a Filipino tennis pipeline isn't just a theory anymore. It's standing right there on center court in Stuttgart, signing autographs in 3 different languages. It's grinding under the lights while those pregnant fans cheer from the stands, and the tour is taking notice. Directors from Madrid to Indian Wells are keeping a close eye on the crowd sizes. Sponsors are watching the clicks. Broadcast execs are crunching the viewership numbers coming out of Southeast Asia. Eala isn't just playing for the Philippines. She's proving that Filipino fans are a massive market force. We're talking about a demographic with spending power and emotional investment that makes traditional European fan bases look tiny. If she pulls this off, the narrative takes off like a rocket. A lucky break turns into a statement victory. That heritage clash becomes a springboard for something much bigger. Massive sponsorships, primetime slots. Even if she loses, she walked onto that court as a proud Filipina in a historic matchup and proved that representation matters. But Alex didn't fly to Stuttgart for a participation trophy. 3 days before that withdrawal, she was in Linz, pushing world number 23, Anastasia Ostapenko, to the limit. First set 4-6, second set 5-7. Close enough to taste it, but she still walked away empty-handed. Her ranking kept sliding. The big opportunities were drying up. Most players would have just spiraled. Instead, Eala posted about being grateful. She hit the practice courts with a different kind of focus. She flew to Stuttgart ready to crawl through qualifying. When that main draw spot opened up, she didn't blink. She didn't second-guess herself. She marched right into the Porsche village. She signed autographs until her hand cramped up. She sat for an honest interview about the weight of pride and pressure. She's ready for a top 25 opponent, with the cool head of someone who's already survived the heartbreak. That's not luck. That's pure grit. Between the injury and the draw, the stars aligned. A pregnant fan's 4-hour drive. The most wanted signature in the village. A lefty-on-lefty junior Grand Slam showdown. That one interview where Eala looked right at the camera and claimed her loud, proud Filipino roots for the world to see. Eala didn't just get lucky in Stuttgart. She grabbed a last-minute lifeline and turned it into the most emotional, culturally massive moment in the history of Philippine tennis. She proved that when a Filipina refuses to stay quiet, the entire world shows up. The match hasn't started, but the point has already been made. Two players with Filipino blood will walk onto that court on April 14th. Regardless of the score, the world will remember this as the moment Filipino tennis stopped asking for a seat and started taking over. So can Eala pull off the massive upset and make this a statement win? Or will Leylah Fernandez show why? Experience is king on the big stage. Tell us your pick in the comments. And if you've been riding with Eala since the juniors, or stayed up late for Miami, if you backed her after Linz and knew she was special, hit that subscribe button right now. You saw it coming. The greatness long before the rankings even caught a glimpse. The next chapter drops the very millisecond that final point is played. Do not